Welcome to Teaching Orchestra. In this episode, we're talking about when things go wrong. And in this segment, I'm going to be talking about bad contest scores. Now, you go to a contest, and of course, you want to win everything. You want to get every trophy. You want to get the highest ratings possible. You want to come back and show, your community, your administration, your school, hey, look, we're actually doing something in here, and look at us. Okay, and it doesn't always go your way. Sometimes the scores are lower than you like. Sometimes another group edges you out. Sometimes you don't do well at all. Sometimes, you've got kind of a building year and your students just don't do very well. So how do you handle that? How do you move forward? What do you take away from things like that? So the first thing that I'd like you to do is kind of frame what just happened, okay? So let's say you go to UIL concert and sight reading and you get a 2. And you're like, oh my goodness, I just got a 2. It's the end of the world. Well, is it? A 2 stands for excellent. If somebody said, hey, you're an excellent teacher, would you take offense at that? Of course not. So a 2 is not a bad score. Of course you want to get a 1, but trust me, I judge all over the place, and a lot of groups would be happy just to get a 2. 3 is average. So if we just give everybody a 1, then those 1s don't really mean anything anymore. And so we really have to make groups earn the 1s. So you get a 2, that's supposed to be exceptional. That's supposed to be well above average. What kind of positive takeaways can you get from the contest that you just went to? Okay, where did you start and where did you finish? Was there improvement? Are you on the right trajectory? Do you still have room for improvement? If you got a 2 or a 3 or whatever, the lower the score you have, the more room that you have to improve. Read through the judges' comments and really take them to heart. If there are common themes that come up, like, hey, you need to work on intonation, hey, you need to work on rhythm, and so on and so forth, maybe it's true. Maybe you could work on rhythm. Maybe you could work on intonation. Maybe you could work on phrasing, articulation, so on. In season 1 of Teaching Orchestra, it's all about technique. I've got episodes on 12 different techniques, and if you're having trouble with intonation or tone or balance, whatever, feel free to go back to season 1 and check it out. If some of the segments get a little wordy, don't worry about it. Just skip to the demonstration exercises. I think those are probably the most valuable things. How do I teach technique in the classroom? How do we build intonation? How do we teach effective rhythm? And maybe you can get some ideas other than just like, stay with the beat, watch, play with the metronome. Maybe it has something to do with the bow, or maybe it has something that you've never even thought of, and you can get some little tidbits out of there and make your teaching more efficient so that you do better in the next contest. What I would really discourage you from doing is just trashing the judges or sort of devaluing or putting them down in front of the students and saying like, oh, this judge gave us a 3. They have no idea what they're talking about. You're really not doing your group any favors if you do that. If you say, hey, they've got some points here, and I think we could really get better as a group if we just did this, this, and this. What do y'all think? Can we work on these techniques? That's going to help you build your orchestra up rather than just saying like, you know what? They don't know what they're talking about. Well, again, that's not how you grow. Another thing that you can do is you can look at your program and you can think, did I really pick the best music from my group? I might have picked music that was fun. I might have picked music that sounded cool, but did I overprogram? Could I have picked easier music and worked on more fundamentals? In season 2 and in the upcoming season 4, I've got some how to teach episodes on how to effectively teach some concert music, and I try to have a good blend of concert music that would be appropriate for groups of all sorts of different types. And in the overviews, I kind of go over like, how hard is this piece? How doable is it? And there's some very doable pieces out there, and you could put them together pretty quickly. I also have teaching companions available on teachingorchestra.com, so you can download those if you want to pass them out to your students and really learn those pieces effectively and quickly. I've had some pilot groups that have been using them this semester, and they've all gotten ones at contests this year, so give them a shot. My very first year of teaching, I certainly didn't get ones on stage, not even close. And so what I did was I went to a spring contest, one of those contests where everybody gets a one. And I told the students like, hey, we're going to redeem ourselves. We're going to go to this contest and we're going to show them. And, they really worked on their music and they really built up their technique. And sure enough, they got ones. And most of the time when groups go to these contests, they wear their T-shirts or whatever. I had them dress up. They wore concert black. And, they showed up to this contest, and it was my little middle school group. I think I had like 6 kids in the whole orchestra at the time. I had like 4 violins, and I think I had like a viola and a cellist. And so we showed up, and everybody's wearing their concert black, and they played the best they can. And because they took it so seriously, the judges awarded them best in class, and and they got a big trophy, and they had a blast, and they were putting each other up on their shoulders and carrying them around the water park where they had their little celebration afterwards, and they hoisted up their trophies, and they thought they were a big deal. And so from that, we were able to build on that success, and the next year was much easier, and we were able to do far better at contests than we were that first year. So think about it. Is there one of those festivals that you could go to in May or something like that, something that's got a fun little activity attached to it, like an amusement park or bowling, laser tag, something like that, where basically everybody gets a one. And if you're not sure, call up the contest office and ask them, be like, hey, how competitive is this? Are we likely to get a one here? Or is this a super serious thing? And they'll tell you. You might want to have a conversation with your orchestra and say, how did y'all feel like you did? Do you feel like there's room for improvement? Do you feel like we're rehearsing optimally here in this class? Do you feel like there's some changes that we could make? Maybe we don't need to use the restroom every single day in orchestra. Maybe we don't need to get that drink of water every single day. Maybe we could focus a little bit more. Maybe we could act with a little bit more maturity. Maybe we could practice a little bit more at home. Maybe I could show you how to practice some things at home so that we're actually practicing. Sometimes I'll have my students write a self-assessment. How did you do specifically at this contest? What were your strengths and weaknesses? What do you think that you could work on for the next time? You specifically, how can you improve your work ethic? What's going to motivate you to be successful the next contest? And then again, it's important to show them that the changes that they're making are actually doing something. And that's going to give them confidence. And you say, hey, you see, when we work harder, we do better. This stuff actually works. Let's keep doing this. And that's going to help build success too. So if you don't do well at a contest, it's not the end of the world. Okay, you can use it as a building block to really get some good improvement for next time if you treat it the right way, if you see it as an opportunity, and if you implement some better strategies, either through teaching certain technique more effectively. Picking the right literature is super important. I would say that's like probably 90% of it. And student engagement. If you can master those 3 things and say, hey, look, if we can just do these things a little bit better, I think we're going to be a lot more successful at the next contest. So if you didn't do well at your contest this year, that's okay. You can improve, and I wish you the best of luck at your next contest.